Hi children, turn to the textbook page number 96. In this presentation, you are going to learn about lesson 6, risk to data and personal information. Learning objectives. In this lesson, you are going to learn about how to be aware of risk to data and information. And you are going to know about methods available to secure data and personal information online. In further, you are going to know about online payment systems. Under risk to data and information topic, the first thing that I am going to explain you about the unauthorized access. Who are unauthorized users? Yes, children. Access to networks by users who are not permitted to access them is called unauthorized access. Unauthorized users can attempt to gain access to networks directly by themselves. Alternatively, they may create software that runs thousands of times per second on devices, input in multiple login details in order to attempt to gain access to networks with poor security. So devices on a network can be targeted by unauthorized users in order to be used as botnets. What do you mean by botnets?
Botnets are groups of computers that have their resources used for harmful purposes, such as running and spreading malware. Now, dear children, according to this picture, you can see groups of computers they are trying to steal users' credit card numbers, use login details and passwords. So they are making different resources. What are the resources they can make? They can make different websites. They can send email messages. They can send computer game softwares to users. In that way, they are trying to steal users' information by making harmful resources. So main aim is of these resources is to steal users information. So they are trying to spread malware. So what do you mean by malware? Malware is a software. If I simply explain about malware, this is a software. But this is not a good software. This is a harmful software. So malware is a software that is created with the intention to do harm.
In further, if we talk about malware, yes, I would like to ask from you a question. What malware can do? Yes, children, malware can show messages, play sounds, delete files, or reprogram systems to perform tasks that will harm the system and the connected hardware. Now, according to this picture, you can see types of malware. Now, as we have discussed earlier, malware is a software. It's a harmful software. So, there can be types virus, adware, spyware, ransomware, Trojan horse, remote access. Like that, there are many types of malware. But I'm not going to discuss you about one by one each and every type of malware. But you have learned these things in the previous chapters and previous grades. But I would like to explain you about ransomware. Okay, what ransomware can do? How it works? It's a type of malware. Ransomware threatens to delete a user's files or places restrictions on a user's access to software or resources until money is paid, usually to an anonymous account. These messages are usually very threatening and distressing for users. They are often written in a way that makes the user believe that they must pay quickly. This puts pressure on the user to act before they have time to think clearly about the threat and how to manage it. Our next risk to data and information is accidental deletion. Users can sometimes delete files or even the entire contents of a drive by mistake. I think you all might have this experience. So how this can happen? If you press a key on a keyboard by accident, you will delete entire content. And if you format media on the wrong storage device, that also you will delete your entire content in the drive. As example, if you format C drive instead of D drive, then you will lose all the files. And other thing is, if your device lose power unexpectedly, so that also you will lose your content. So dear children, you have to be very careful when you are working with computer. You should not do these mistakes. Next we will move to the theft of personal data. Now there are many techniques available to steal users' personal information. Now phishing is a one technique. Phishing this is the criminal activity of sending emails or having a website that is intended to trick someone into giving away personal information, such as their bank account number or their computer password. Now this information is then used to get money or goods. My dear children, remember phishing is a technique that is trying to get personal information and payment details from users. So how they can get users personal information? They are sending large number of messages. But these messages appear to be real organizations, such as it looks like it has been sent by your school or your bank or any other company, right? So but these messages ask you to provide your personal information. So because you feel it's had sent by your bank or your school, your university, so you reply for these messages, but this information will receive to the unauthorized users. Now dear children, here you can see sample phishing message. Now it says, Dear network user, this email is meant to inform you that your My University network password will expire in 24 hours. Please follow the link below to update your password. Now this is a fake email. So this is a phishing message. But user feel this has sent by their university and they will click on this link and they will type their university password. So this university password received to the unauthorized user. So you have to be very careful when you receive an email and asking personal information. You have to double check with the real organization. And other thing I want to explain you, there are some phishing messages. Those are highly customized and targeted a smaller number of specific users. Now this phishing message is not targeted specific users. This is general message sent to all the university students. But some bank messages or some other organization messages they send by highly customizing to the target smaller number of people. So this type of messages we called spear phishing messages. What is that? Spear phishing messages. Next technique is farming. Like phishing, farming is a technique used by criminals to gain personal information and payment details from users. Criminals create fake versions of trusted websites to trick users into entering their login details, which are then used by the criminals to access users' accounts. In phishing, they send number of messages to the users to get their personal information. But farming, they create fake versions of trusted website to trick users into entering their login details. As an example, if you want to access to your bank website, you will type in the address bar your bank website web address. But if you make a spelling mistake, you will access to the fake versions of your bank website. So you will enter your information in fake website. So easily they can collect your PIN numbers, passwords, bank account, financial information. There are two main methods by which users are directed to a farming site. First one is internet traffic. Internet traffic going to the real website is redirected to the fake website so that users think they are visiting the real thing. Criminals do this by ordering the domain name servers to make internet traffic go to their fake site. They can also use malware to redirect web requests. Next one is URL of a farming website is designed to be very similar to the URL of the real website. Often, the URL of a farming website is designed to be very similar to the URL of the real website. This means that if a user misspells the URL when typing it into the address bar of their web browser, they could go to the farming site by mistake. For example, if the URL of the real bank is http moneybank.lk and the criminals create a website with the URL http money instead of bank bank.lk. It could be easy for the user to make a mistake and arrive at the fake website. Dear children, so far we have learned about what are the risks to data and information. Now we are going to learn about what are the methods to secure data and personal information online. First of all, we will see what is a firewall. Now firewalls control the data traveling into and out of a network. They examine the network addresses and ports of the data. So you can decide what are the sites you can allow and what are the sites you can stop. So they then compare those details to a list of rules that can be changed by network administrators. The list of rules determines what traffic should be allowed to travel into and out of the network. In this way, firewalls can prevent unauthorized access to a network and protect the network from malware. You have learned about this firewall in Unit 2 connectivity lesson. Our next method of secure data and information is encryption. Encryption uses a key to scramble data into an unreadable form. If encrypted data is intercepted on the network, it is useless unless the interceptor has or can identify the key. Now look at this picture. Here you can see the drive file. Now we need to encrypt this information uh, so we need use a private key as well as algorithm. Using use a private key and algorithm we can encrypt this information. So once you encrypt or scramble, no one third party person or hacker or unauthorized person cannot read information. That is the purpose of encryption. But when it received to the correct receiver, encrypted file is still in the unreadable form. So how we can decrypt this information? So again you need use a private key and algorithm. Using use a private key and algorithm, we can decrypt this information into original file. So now original file in readable form. Next method is to protect data and information online is passwords, pins and biometrics. Passwords, pins and biometrics are used online to authenticate a user so that they can access an online system. Now, as I given in this picture, you can see when you are typing password or PIN, the characters are often masked or hidden, so that anyone watching the screen cannot see what I type. You should make sure that your password contains these characteristics. Your password should be more than 8 characters long, so it's difficult to guess. And as well as you have to check your password is a mix of letters, numbers and symbols. Now according to given this picture, you can see it's more than 8 characters long, as well as it's a mixture of letters, numbers and symbols, and made up of uppercase and lowercase letters. Few letters you can change into uppercase and lowercase. In another word, capital or simple. And made up of random characters, as well as change frequently. Your password you should change frequently, and something that they have not used before. Don't use same password for all the accounts. You have to use different passwords. So it's difficult to guess. So remember children, you have to check whether your password it contains these characteristics. Then only you can create a strong password. Captcha test. When users create an online account, they may be given a test called CAPTCHA test. CAPTCHA tests are used to make sure that data is entered by a human and not by an automatic software program known as a bot or web robot. Now, I think you all may have this experience, especially when you are creating email accounts. Uh, the online form, at the end of the online form, they ask you to do this test. Now, here you can see two types of test. Here they ask you to type some letters or numbers as they have given in this picture. And sometimes they ask you to select some images. So human only can think and do this test, but automatic software program, bot or web robot cannot do this program. So they can make sure this is a human and not a automatic software program. Next one is anti-malware. Anti-malware prevents malware from accessing or operating on computers. It scans computer files in real time and allows users to scan files, folders, disks or whole systems. So under this anti-malware, we are going to discuss about antivirus, anti-adware, anti-spyware. Now let's see what is antivirus software. Okay, I would like to ask from your question, what is a virus? Yes, virus is a malware that uses networks to spread to connected devices. Or you can define it as a software, harmful software. Viruses are spread via communication software such as email or web browsers, or by being loaded into a computer's memory from external storage such as USB flash drives. Viruses often look like normal file, but they have unique virus definitions that can be identified by antivirus software. So to protect from viruses, you need antivirus software. So what antivirus software does? Antivirus software constantly checks files that are downloaded and loaded by a computer for signs of virus definitions. If the antivirus software finds a match, it quarantines the file so that it cannot be run. What do you mean by quarantine the file? Quarantine means isolate a suspected virus in a protected area of storage where it cannot harm other files. And other thing children, you should remember antivirus software has to be updated regularly because virus code can be changed either automatically or by the developers of the virus. So you need to update regularly your virus guard. So I have given in this picture few examples of virus guard. What is your virus guard in your computer? Now here you can see AVG, Panda, ESET and Kaspersky. So many virus guards are available. Try to find out from the internet best virus guards in the world. Next one is anti-adware. Adware displays unwanted adverts to users. So we need anti-adware software. So anti-adware software detects and quarantines and removes adware. Next one is anti-spyware. What is spyware? Spyware secretly monitors and records computer data and user input. For example, a keylogger is a type of spyware that monitors and records actions such as key presses or mouse movements. Criminals can then analyze this information to identify a user's passwords or websites or financial data such as credit card numbers and security codes. So we need anti-spyware software to detect, quarantines and remove spyware. Our next method to protect our data is access rights and file permissions. Permissions can be set for access to files, folders or drives, allowing users to read only or read and write to the file. Now according to this picture you can see this blue color area you can consider as a system file and there are three users available. Who are the three types of users? Just a participant, an ordinary user and administrator. So here from the arrows you can see what are the permissions granted for each and every user. Now as an administrator he can access to all the files in this system. Full access rights on database and change personal data, evaluates the objects and obtain trust. But ordinary user can access only to obtain trust. And participant can access to enroll survey and change personal data and evaluate subjects and obtains trust. So likewise, different users you can grant permission for different files. Hypertext Transfer Protocol HTTP is used to exchange data between a web server and a client. However, data transferred using HTTP is not secure. So, Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure HTTPS. Check properly, not HTTP, HTTPS was developed. HTTPS authenticates payment servers and provides encryption using Secure Socket Layer SSL and more recently Transport Layer Security TLS. So what is the use of HTTPS? HTTPS keeps communications private and provides security for users' online accounts. Web browsers often show that a website is secure by displaying a green padlock in the address bar. Now you can see in these two pictures two different colors. Now here first blue color picture you can't see this green padlock sign. This is a HTTP. But HTTPS Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure you can see padlock sign. So it says what? Your website is secure. Whatever the online payments, passwords and everything extra protected from the HTTPS. In further, if we talk about HTTPS, look at this picture. Here you can see HTTPS keeps communications private and provides security for users' online accounts. Now, first picture you can see password Guru99. Third party person, hacker, unauthorized user can see. But the HTTPS, if you type a password, it's automatically encrypted. So it's scrambled data. So correct password Guru 99, no one can read. No one can understand. Third party person cannot understand. So that is what happening in the HTTPS. That is what's working with HTTPS. So web browsers often show that a website is secure by displaying a green padlock in the address bar. Our next precaution is email attachments and web links. Users should always be careful when opening email attachments or hyperlinks in emails and other messages. This is because some are fake and designed to steal users' personal information. Users should ensure that their anti-malware software is up to date and be especially careful if they do not recognize the sender. If you can see the attachment and you cannot recognize the sender, you have to be very careful. The next one is you have to check the text is general, impersonal or irrelevant to the user. Unusual content, impersonal message if you receive, you have to careful with that email attachment. The text contains spelling or grammatical errors. So if you can find lot of spelling and grammatical errors in your email message or attachment, then you have to careful with that email. And other thing what you can check is the attached file is an executable file such as an .exe or .zip file. .exe file we call executable file. Zip file we call compressed file. So even if you receive that such a file, you have to check whether this is received from the correct user, who is the user who has sent this message without downloading the attachment. And next thing you have to check is the text contains a message telling the user to do something immediately. You should not be very hurried to do that thing they ask from the message. You have to check why they ask this information immediately. Okay, the next thing you can check is the user does not recognize the URL. You have to check whether it's a familiar URL or not. If you can't recognize, don't try to give your personal information, as well as don't try to download that attachment to your computer. Next method to protect our data is backup. Backups create one or more copies of data. A backup is usually stored to an external storage device. This makes the data more secure because the backup files will be safe even if the original storage device fails or is damaged, lost or stolen. Backups can also be saved to online storage. This means that a copy of the data is held in two different geographical locations. Backing up to online storage can be slower because the process uses an internet connection. What are the types of backups? Full backup. In this full backup, you can create copy of all files. Entire content you can backup. In differential backup, you are not going to keep full backup. Here you take a copy of the change file only. If you update any information today, only that file only you are going to take as a backup. Then incremental backup saves a copy of only the files that have changed since the last full or incremental backup. Now, after last full backup, if you have changed any file, if you update any file, that certain information only you are going to take as a backup. This is we call incremental backup. Here you can see few good ideas for backup procedures. Set automatic backups. You can set backups automatic so you will not forget to keep backups. And do not use optical media. and schedule backups for late in the evening when users will not be using the data that is being backup in order to avoid conflicts. And create more than one copy. Two different geographical area, you can keep more than one copy. Keep one copy of a folder containing important files backup using online storage. And next one is store copies at multiple locations and store important data in a fireproof safe. People can pay for goods and services online using various payment systems. These systems send payment details across networks to computers that process the payments. Online third-party payment processes. What do you mean by online third-party payment processes? Yes, online third-party payment processors like PayPal or Skrill allow users to create an account so that they can send and receive money using email accounts for identification. Users can also use systems that link with online shopping applications, which can make shopping easier and faster. Okay, now we are going to learn about bank cards. This is not a new thing for you all. You have seen bank cards front and back side. Here also I have given two pictures. Bank cards allow customers to pay for goods and services online and in shops. When paying online, you usually need to enter the card number, expiry date, name on the card, 3 or 4 digit card security code. This is we call CSC. And some banks, some occasion we refer this as card verification code, CVC. Contactless cards using NFC. Near Field Communication. NFC stands for Near Field Communication. This is used in payment cards to allow the transfer of payment data. The payment does not require a PIN or any form of user authentication. If a card reader is in range and requesting payment, then the contactless card will take payment up to maximum amount. This amount is limited so that any people using card readers or apps to commit fraud can only steal a small amount.
Dear children, now we have come to the end of your chapter. Now you can go through this chapter 2-3 times. After that, try to write answers for these questions.